Today, I'm going to be doing another rainbow themed Dutch door spread, but this time we're busting out the frames. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are here for the first time, my name is Tracy, and here on my channel, I like to play with stamps, stickers, and pretty much anything and put them all in my journals and my planners. So if that sounds like something that may be of interest to you, then hit that subscribe button. So yeah, we are once again in the Live Love Posh junk journal collection. I have used this a lot on my channel as of late. I promise I will get into some other sticker books. It's just I'm really into setting up my commonplace journal, which this is my commonplace journal. This is a journal that I got from the Archer and Olive subscription box, the March subscription box. It's the 128 page A5 journal. This one, like I said, is going to be my commonplace journal. Commonplace journal is where you take down notes and information that you might want to refer to later that you have gathered from outside sources. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I already have notes that I've been writing in other notebooks that I'm going to be transferring here. So I am kind of in overdrive mode as far as setting up the pages in this journal. I did a few other rainbow Dutch door spreads. I did this one with the rainbow icon sticker book, and then I did this one with the rainbow ephemera sticker book. So today we are going to be pulling some things from the rainbow icons, but the frames are going to be at the start of the show. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to be using the frames as boxes to write things in. So the frames are going to be functional. I'm not going to put stickers in the frames, I don't think. I hesitate to say what I'm not going to do before I put stickers on the page because things change. But that's kind of my initial thought is I will write some things in some of the boxes, and then I will use some of the space outside the boxes to put some decorative stickers. We'll see. Because I don't want to use all the frames in my spread, you have like 2 pages of frames. Of course, you have stickers inside of stickers, but I can't use these itty bitty frames in here. I think I'm going to do 1 page, 1 color, and the one that's opposite of it, a different color. There are 7 colors in this sticker book. You can see them here. So you have like the pink, purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. So I did pull this sticker book as well. This is decorative frames. I am an affiliate for Live Love Posh, so you can use my discount code if you want to save some money. I believe some of these are still available. If not, they are in the process of restocking. But I think I'm going to be bringing in some of the black frames to supplement the area. I need 8 colors. I need an even number of colors. So we're going to be cutting out 3 on the Dutch doors, and I am going to be using the frames as my Dutch door, so it should be a little bit simpler. But because I'm switching the colors, I do kind of need to think a little bit more, but I think like those 2 might be the same size and things like that. Although some of these frames are fairly large, so I also got to think about that. This is an A5, which is big, but it's I don't want to just have 1 frame on here. I'd rather have 2 at least, maybe. I don't know. We're gonna have to see how this is gonna work. Maybe 1 big frame would be the best one. I had originally intended to do this video at regular speed and not do a voiceover because I'm just using frames. Simple, right? Y'all, this turned out to be a battle of Tracy versus the stickers. And I mean like a real battle, because I completely did not take into account that 1, these stickers are PET tape, so they're not like paper stickers. So they're a little bit more flimsy than a paper sticker. Plus, given the fact that the entire center of the sticker is cut out, so you can write directly on the page, so you do want it to be cut out, but that makes it really flimsy. So what I mean by that, you can kind of see me struggling, even in the sped up versions. Like I would place a part of the sticker down and then the other part would just fall onto the page. It was very much a battle throughout this entire spread because of that. And then, I finally get it down on the page. I start laying everything out, and then I'm like, ooh, I need to move it. So then I have to do it all over again. That was not the sticker's fault. That was me. But yeah, so this definitely took a lot longer than I thought it would, just because of the fact that the stickers seem to have a mind of their own. Like I said, it was just a battle putting them on the page. But today was one of those days, actually, when I'm filming this video, that I had a lot of time in my day. I had a surprise day off of work, so I didn't have any plans, and it's really hot outside. It's like 102 degrees, which is very hot around here because it's very humid. So I knew I wasn't going to go anywhere. So I had all day to play. So, you know, the fact that it took me longer than usual really did not impact me at all. I actually enjoyed the process. I mean, I might have had a few choice words when the stickers kept falling on the page when I didn't want it to. But other than that, I enjoyed the process. So I kind of mentioned previously, like as I was like talking about this spread, that I did want to kind of stick to the larger of the frames. And that is because I want to write in these. Like I said, this is my commonplace book. So I'm not exactly sure what this section is going to hold yet, but because I'm doing Dutch doors in this particular section, it's going to probably hold things that isn't going to take, like, it's not going to be paragraphs of information. It's going to be more like bullet point type information. In the sections where I'm going to have like more paragraph type information, those I'm just doing waterfall edges. I'm not doing Dutch doors or anything like that, not adding boxes or anything of that nature. So I can write on the whole page, just so you can kind of get an idea of my thought process behind the actual journal and how I'm choosing to decorate it. So I do want to say that these frames are not like perfect matches for one another as far as the size goes. So some of them are pretty close size-wise, but they have different frames or different borders or different decorative pieces to the frames. So some of them are maybe more straight, and then some of them might have some kind of fancy things on it where it sticks out on the ends or something like that. So they don't perfectly fit on the opposite side of the Dutch door. So like, for example, if you look really close here, you'll see that there is a larger border around the orange frames than it was around the red. Now, obviously, when I cut around the Dutch door, I cut around the red frames. So that's the reason why there wasn't as much of a border. But you'll see there is a decent sized border around these orange frames, just because I was trying to get them to fit as best as I could in the spot, but I couldn't get them to fit all the way on the edge. With that said, once I actually finish all the pages with all the stickers and all that stuff, pay attention, because you really don't see those like crazy amount of spaces around the border as much as you kind of think you would. They really don't stand out as much as I'm seeing that they are right now. Because like when I did the flip through, it didn't even cross my mind that there were larger borders around some of the frames. So I'm just kind of want to throw that out there to you guys. Okay, so these yellow frames were a pain in my behind. And now this was partially due to me, because I was like, wow, now this one particular yellow frame, you know, almost like if I lay it right, it looks like it's framing the red frame. So that, you know, should have, like I said, if it was a paper sticker or something like that, it would have been easy to just pop on the page exactly where you want it. But because of the flimsiness, it did take a while. Y'all, I cut out some of the parts of me like fooling around with that yellow frame. It took well over 5 minutes probably for me to lay that frame down on the page, just because it kept like moving once I put it down. And then when I had it down in the right spot, it like had like a little pucker in it. So then I had to change that. And then I realized that like flattening it out without the pucker, it changed where it was laying. And I was like, ooh, now it's not really showing as much as I want when you have the red frame in front of it. Oh yeah. This one I definitely overthought. Let's just put it that way. So because the middle frame is so big, I did go for a smaller one underneath of it. And I'm kind of like playing around with different frames for the top. You can see me I just went ahead and ripped the page out so I can lay it directly on there. But then I decided, you know, it'd be kind of cool to have at least one of the oval frames on each of the pages, but I want them in different positions. So the oval frames are actually the easiest of the frames to match up. I think The only difficult one will be this yellow one because the green, they didn't have a matching one like that's exactly like this for the green. But it still was fairly simple. Now, you did see me remove that very bottom yellow frame. It was because the color of the frame just clashed a little too much with the other ones. So I felt like the other ones, you know, are bright and colorful and cheerful, and then the other one was a little drab. So that is why I changed it out. Because it's hanging off the page a little bit too, I do kind of want to mention this. That helps cut down the size of some of the frames. So if you know you are trying to do something like this with these particular stickers, you can kind of keep that in mind. You can kind of make things fit by hanging some of the larger ones off the page. And that way on the opposite side, you can use an actual smaller one. With that said, I did try to always show, even if it was just a sliver of the frame at the bottom. I didn't want to cut it all the way off. I wanted to like have it mostly on the page, just because this is my big like decorative elements in addition to being functional. So yeah, that's pretty much my explanation for the frame portions. So I am going to kind of let you just watch me create the next few Dutch doors. And at the end, you will see I put some really large decorative frames on the very back page because I don't have to do a Dutch door there, so I can use whatever frames I wanted. So I did try to use the ones that had like a more decorative border. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I do apologize for my head that keeps getting in the way. I have to figure out how to avoid that. I guess maybe not lean over in front of the camera, but I wonder if I can position my camera differently so that way my head doesn't actually get in front of the camera, because I just always have to like get close up to the page to see what I'm doing, especially when I'm cutting, or in this case, even like laying the stickers down. So I do apologize. I did try to cut some of that out, but yeah, you'll see my head like fill up the screen a couple of times. All right, so I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to stop talking for a bit. I will come back and kind of explain some more things as I get to them. But right now, because I'm just laying down the frames, it's kind of what I've already said. So let's throw on some music and watch me lay these frames. So now that all of the larger frames or my functional space is now done and set up, I'm going to go through and try to fill in some of this other area. Now, I could have just left this blank. I actually think the frames look fine on the page as is, and I probably just could have left this plain and used it as more functional space. But no, I didn't. Because like I said, the frames are large enough and they take up so much of the page that I think they do provide that decorative element by itself. But what I decided to do was use some of the smaller frames because they really are more decorative, the smaller ones, because I'm not really sure what you could use them for. I guess like if you were doing like an alphabet challenge for like a reading journal or really for anything, I guess you could use the frames and then just write the alphabet in it. But other than that, it's really not much you can do with it. I guess you could frame a tiny little decorative sticker or something like that. So yeah, I'm just kind of like spreading them throughout. And then when I got to the last page, I'm like, wait a minute, I have a lot of space on some of these pages. Let's actually use some of the bigger frames on here as well. And then that way I can write on those as well, expanding my functional areas. Now, with that said, you did see like the red, the orange, the yellow, and maybe even the green really lacks the space to do that in. So there's only a few pages where I can do this. So yeah, you'll see me only do this on a few pages, obviously the front and the back page, but like I could fit one more box here on the purple page. So yeah, when I can, I try to do that. The other thing I want to mention is I was getting so carried away with this frame book that I completely forgot about the Rainbow Icons sticker book that I definitely wanted to use as well. You will see I will remember the icons in a little bit and then, you know, integrate some of those into the spread. But yeah, I was getting a little carried away with all of the small frames. Because like I said, at this point, I was like, this is like the perfect spread to actually use them in because this is a all frame spread. So even using the little small ones, I felt fit. And now I am going to be using the Rainbow Icons sticker book. Now, like I said, I think the spread looks fine as is. I think it looked fine before I started adding the little tiny frames or whatever. But I really do like the addition of some of the icons. It just adds a little something. You know, I started out by adding a camera because I'm like, oh, we have frames, a camera, yay. But then I soon found that I don't have cameras and all of the colors, so I couldn't keep that theme going. So you'll see I use a lot of like the little more like feminine and dainty ones. I'll use like the high heels, the makeup, and the jewelry on a lot of the other pages. And I don't go overboard here. I only add a few on each page. I still keep a lot of, instead of just white space, we'll call it breathing room around the frames. Because like I said, the frames are the star of the show. So I'm just adding the little icons just so it's something else on the page other than frames. But I don't want those to take the attention away from the frames. So yeah, that was my thought process. All right, guys. So I am just about done. And we will come back and we'll do a quick wrap up and then that'll be it. All right, guys, there we go. This was fun. It was fun, but it took quite a bit longer than I had anticipated. I'm like, oh, frames, it's going to be easy to match up. It's going to be easy to cut around. Yes, yes, and yes. But I did not anticipate the fact that because they were PET tape stickers and because the inside was hollow, that they were going to be a little bit more difficult to place down exactly where you want it. Because as you were holding one end, the other end would fall down and things like that. You guys saw that. So they were a little bit more difficult to work with than I thought. Obviously, the smaller the sticker, the easier it was, but the real large ones were a little bit more difficult. Plus, I was trying to like line them up in certain ways so that way they kind of framed the frames that were in front of it. So that also added to the difficulty, but that's okay because in addition to setting this up as a commonplace journal, I just wanted to play today. I wanted to play, I wanted to be creative, and this was a lot of fun. So I really did enjoy it. Now, obviously, if you want to recreate this and you have the sticker books, this hopefully gave you some ideas. If you don't have the sticker books, I will have them linked down in the description box. Like I said, at the time of filming the video, they're supposed to be restocking them if they are sold out. So definitely just keep checking back. I do have an affiliate link for Live Love Posh as well as a discount code. I would appreciate it if you would consider using that. However, if you're not interested in the frames or you don't have them, you can recreate something very similar with box stickers or shape stickers that are in your sticker books. You know, even if you have Happy Planner sticker books, you know, they have like the tombstone or the arch boxes. They have the square boxes. They even have some circles and things like that. Or remember, you can always, you know, draw your own. Of course, Mojo Jojo shapes box sticker books, you can always use those too, but you can always draw your own. So this is something that you could recreate and not necessarily do frames, but do like shapes and things like that. If you wanted to do like a Dutch door type spread, but keep it super functional. Obviously, because these are frames and there isn't as much space in the middle, I do lose some functionality there, but I think this is going to be fine. It should be fine. If not, that's what all the other sections are for. All right, guys. And yes, I do like the addition of the icons. I think they added a little bit of something to the spread, but I didn't go overboard. I thought about putting them here because the white space on the first and the last page always kind of makes me go, ugh. But you know what? I don't mind it. I really don't mind it here. So I'm going to leave it. I was like, I could put washi, I could put icons, but I'm just going to leave it. We'll see when I do my final flip through of this book if I add anything. I don't think I am though. So let me know what you guys think. Should I add anything there? Should I just leave it? I could always take a dot marker and put dots there too. That's always an option. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, press that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider subscribing to my channel. That is all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.